Hello and welcome back to Ame's Bookshelf. Today I am interviewing Rowan Wookey, creator of the roleplay game Dragon Hearts. Next week I will be interviewing Rochelle Lazauskas, and I do hope that I'm pronouncing her name correctly, the author of the Maui Adventures. But to this week's interview, Dragon Hearts is an online browser-based text role-play game written intentionally quirky at the request and or demand of Rowan Wookey, wherein you play a shape-shifting dragon undertaking a series of adventures. Some are permanent adventures and fixtures of the website. Some are time-based challenges that are celebratory. And then you have Fetu, who runs rampant and sometimes makes things difficult for both the players in the game undertaking your quests and for staff. He really enjoys wreaking havoc in the Dragon Hearts offices and our lives, as well as the game. Rowan Wookey, a very good friend of mine. Again, he is a game creator, and he bills himself as a general nerd, which I can agree with, having gotten to meet him face to face several times, along with his beautiful wife, who is not a nerd, Rowan is. And let's see, the project he can talk about is DH, or Dragon Hearts, which he is the creator of. I have not gotten to talk to some of the other founders of the website for this. I would have to track them down. Some of them have dispersed for other projects. Rowan really wants to get back to working on Dragon Hearts. We have a project for DH that he and I have been working on for several years now that has sometimes gotten backburnered because of life and how it tends to be very fast-paced, and well, you have to be able to pay the bills. So sometimes that's a little bit more important than what we want to do with Dragon Hearts, even though I do get to write for it for quest lines. He doesn't always get to actually code those quest lines because of work for other projects, and when he was pursuing his degree, although he's currently on his master's degree that he's working on now, I am not. He's winning the race. Let's see here. He's also working on having a child with his, again, lovely wife. They're having to do in vitro fertilization, which I'm anxiously awaiting the results of. It's been several little bits and pieces that they've been having to do on that, so I do wish them best of luck on that. I fully intend to get a Wookiee costume for little baby Wookiee. It's going down. Even if I gotta make it myself, it's going down, guys. Let's see here. Most of the other stuff that he can talk about that he is involved in besides Dragon Hearts is on github.com/rwky. Now, I asked him if he had any future projects in mind to take on, and he said that yes, he's got tons. There's a huge list of them somewhere. Where it is, I don't know. I'm not being paid to nag him about those projects. I'm only nagging about DH and doing kind of a poor job on that. Should have grabbed my chopsticks. Get on it, Rowan. There's other people besides me that are waiting for stuff to get coded. Scary. Let's see here. I asked him about what his favorite project that he's involved with is, and it is, of course, Dragon Hearts at www.dragonheartsrpg.com. Also a .co.uk, because it is a UK-based game, so it's all UK-based time, which throws me off quite often. And I gotta do UK spelling when I write for it, and sometimes slip into the US spelling, so it's a mishmash. Let's see here. I asked him another question, whether or not coding was the career that he always wanted to do. And actually, it turned out, no, that was not what he had originally wanted to do. He originally wanted to be a biochemist. That would have been really dang cool, because, then I could have said, I know a scientist, but then again, we wouldn't have met. A lot of things would have been different. And I apologize for all the noise, because I'm filming in the front part of the house, in my dining area, actually. One of you may recognize my lovely curtains. Let's see here. Another question that I had for him was whether or not he found it difficult, or whether there were some aspects of his website projects that were more difficult for him. And I feel really weird in front of the camera looking at myself to make sure I stay centered, but that's okay. His answer was he found it difficult to be sitting on his arse for 12 hours a day. It's not so good when you're in your 30s. No, it's not. I can vouch for that. 30-year-old Rowan wishes that he could tell 20-year-old Rowan to go outside more so that the 30-year-old bits would ache less. And I can attest that he does, in fact, sometimes nag me to get up and move around more. When I was recovering from my surgeries, I can actually remember him encouraging me to do that. That's how far back we go. Let's see here. He says that he is pretty well adapted for the long-distance asynchronous communications. Email, IM, that kind of thing. But being on call 24/7 for the past 10 plus years does get a little tiring at times. The next question I had for him was, what is a normal day like? And is this his side or his main job? He says, in the words of Forrest Gump, what's normal anyways? I don't have a normal day. Every day is different. Assuming I'm at home, I wake up, check my emails and calendar, and write today's to-do list. Then I get cracking on it. Most days I get through most of it, but inevitably some days something blows up, normally multiple things in one go. So then I have to deal with a mountain of he. My life is much the same, so I can totally commiserate. DH is a side job, though it was his main job for a while, years ago. My main job is making bits of the internet work, quoting himself. If it's to do with Linux servers or web programming, then I probably do it, or have done it. And he does have quite a lot that he has to do. Sometimes I get to help with that. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get to listen and go, glad I don't do that for work. My next question for him was, how do you manage balancing this with family and any other work you may have? I'll let you into a secret. There are 2 of me. Something I often tell clients when they wonder how I can do so much. I don't really manage to balance. I just do what I can and let some of the less urgent stuff fall by the wayside. Adulting sucks, you know. Yes, adulting does indeed suck. My next question for him was, what hobbies do you have? I expected something pie related, actually. Only partially. Only partially. Is beer a hobby? Now, I should have seen that coming. If so, then that. I'm also a fairly avid Pokemon Go player and also play on Steam, Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo Switch. TV is one of my favorite things to relax with, especially in the bath. I'm endeavoring to read the Anne McCaffrey Pern series again. Takes a while, on Kindle. Rowan, if you could be anything in the world besides this, what would it be? Can I say a cat? Seems like they have a good life, though job-wise, I would like to work in the space industry. Do you feel that school helped set you up toward following this path in the publishing industry? Not at all, is his answer. I did all my relevant qualifications after getting into programming. If you could go back to school, is there anything you wish you had paid more attention to? Nah, I was one of those annoying people that's good at most academic subjects. To be honest, in my honest opinion, most of high school was a waste. I'm not a fan of how the UK education system works. It's highly focused on memorizing things instead of being able to use knowledge. Degree level isn't much better, which is why I left Manchester Uni to go to the Open Uni. Manchester's master's courses are read this book, remember this algorithm. Whereas the OU is, here's a project, go figure out how to do it. Since my memory is abysmal these days, in the words of Homer Simpson, every time I learn something new, it pushes something old stuff out of my brain. The school of remembering things by rote is useless to me. Rowan, what advice do you have for the next generation? Now, his advice to you young folk that are hopefully watching this or will watch this, this means you and you. And Megan, I mean you. Athena, Aaliyah, all of you. Yeah, you way in the back there. Go outside. The world is big, weird, and wonderful. Go see it. Don't fall for rampant consumerism. This planet is finite. Try not to screw it up for yourselves and future generations. Keep your options open. What you think you want to do now probably won't be what you want in 10, 20, 30 years. I definitely agree with Rowan on that. He also says to relax. That thing you're worrying about probably isn't that bad. Okay. Sometimes it is, but unless you're dying, it's probably not. My next question for Rowan was, what advice do you have for your age peers that may also want to take part in the publishing industry, and specifically with your area within it? And he says, don't be afraid to take the jump into something new. It can be scary, especially when you have a significant other, kids, mortgage, etc. Well, but if it's something you really want to do, then go for it. Life's short, so try and be happy with it. My next question, and my last question for Rowan, was, is there anything else that you'd like to add that we didn't discuss? His wise words of wisdom are, pie should be a mandatory food group. I can see his reasoning. I like pie. There are so many kinds of pie. You got your pizza pie, you got your sweet pie, your fruit pie, your savory pie. It's a wide world of pie. Let's take a bite of it. Until next time, I'm Teresa Garcia, and this has been an interview at Ame's Bookshelf. Next week, when I put up the interview, I will be interviewing Rochelle Lazauskas, author of the children's series, The Adventures of Moe, which I got to illustrate for. Until next time. Happy reading. He says that he is pretty well adapted for the long-distance asynchronous communication. He says that he is pretty well adapted for the long-distance asynchronous communication.